The lock clicked into place with a finality that made my empty stomach clench. Through the kitchen doors, frosted glass, I could see the shadows of my family moving around preparing dinner. The smell of roasted chicken drifted through the gaps, making my mouth water painfully. No Dehana year. For Lee, my mother called out loud enough for me to hear from the hallway where I stood. Maybe tomorrow you'll remember to tell the truth. My crime? I told my teacher that I've been too dizzy to complete my homework. Mrs. Patterson had asked if I'd eaten breakfast, and I'd accidentally let slip that I hadn't had a proper meal in 2 days. When the school called home to check on me, my mother had been furious. "We feed our daughter perfectly well," she told them coldly. "She's going through a phase where she lies for attention. We're handling it with appropriate discipline." Now, standing outside the locked kitchen, I pressed my hand against my hollow stomach. This was day 3 without a real meal. I'd managed to sneak a granola bar from my friend's lunch yesterday, but that was all. Ella Lanner's eating with us tonight, I heard my father tell my younger sister through the door. Since Jade can't seem to appreciate family dinner, she doesn't get to participate. Ella Lanner, 13-year-old sister, said something I couldn't hear. Then, Dad's voice louder. "She'll eat when she learns respect. A little hunger builds character." I was 17 years old and weighed 89 pounds. This discipline had started 6 months ago when I questioned why Ella Leonard got new clothes for school while I had to wear the same threadbare uniforms from 2 years ago. Ungrateful children don't deserve new things, Mother had said. You'll get new clothes when you learn gratitude. The hunger punishments began. Small. No dessert. No seconds. Smaller portions. But as I continued to ask questions they didn't like, express opinions they disagreed with, or show any sign of independence, the punishments escalated. Now entire meals were withheld, sometimes days of them. "You can have water," Mother had explained during the first long punishment. "And once you apologize sincerely for your behavior, we'll discuss food." The problem was the definition of sincere kept changing. I'd apologize for whatever transgression they'd identified, but it was never enough. "You're just saying what you think we want to hear," Dad would say. "When you truly understand your wrongdoing, well, no." I retreated to my room, lightheaded from standing too long. My desk was covered with homework I could barely focus on. How do you concentrate on calculus when your body is eating itself? How do you write essays when your brain is foggy from malnutrition? My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend, Aisha. "You okay? You looked really pale today." I wanted to tell her the truth, but what could I say? My parents locked the kitchen. They were starving me. It sounded ridiculous even to me, and I was living it. "Just tired," I texted back. "See you tomorrow." Tomorrow. I had to survive until tomorrow. That night, I lay in bed listening to my stomach growl through the thin walls. I Could hear my family watching TV, laughing at some sitcom. Normal family. Evening, except one member was slowly fading away in her room. I tried, keeping food in my room, but mother did routine searches. Hoarding food is a sign of an eating disorder, she'd said, when she found my stashed crackers. We're doing this for your own good, Jade, to break these unhealthy habits. The irony wasn't lost on me. They were creating an eating disorder while claiming to prevent one. At 3 a.m., desperate, I crept downstairs. Maybe I could find something, anything. But kitchen door was still locked, and they started locking the pantry, too. Oh, even fruit bowl that used to sit on the dining table had been moved inside the kitchen. I drank water from the bathroom tap until my stomach ached, hoping it would dull the hunger pangs. It didn't. The next morning, getting dressed for school was a challenge. My uniform hung off me like I was wearing someone else's clothes. I cinched the skirt as tight as it would go, but it still slipped down my protruding hip bones. Breakfast is for family members who contribute positively to the household, mother announced as I passed the kitchen. Through the doorway, I could see Eleanor eating pancakes. My stomach cramped violently. At school, I moved slowly, conserving energy. In class, I sat out claiming cramps. During lunch, I sat with Asa and tried not to stare at her sandwich. Jade, seriously, what's wrong? She asked. You look awful. I'm fine, I lied. The words, automatic now. My parents had trained me. Well, family business stayed in the family. In biology class, the room started spinning. I gripped my desk, begging myself not to faint. We were studying the digestive system of all things. Mr. Rodriguez was explaining how the body breaks down muscle tissue when it doesn't get enough fuel. The human body is remarkably adaptable, he said. In cases of severe caloric restriction, it will cannibalize its own tissue to survive. First fat stores, then muscle, eventually even organ tissue. I wondered which stage I was in. The darkness came suddenly. One moment I was taking notes. The next I was collapsing. My body finally giving up its struggle to function on nothing. I heard chairs scraping, voices shouting, felt hands trying to catch me as I went down. When I woke up, I was in the nurse's office. Mrs. Chin, our school nurse, was leaning over me with blood pressure cuff and a deeply worried expression. Jade, sweetheart, when did you last eat? I tried to remember. The granola bar was 2 days ago. Before that, when was the last time I'd eaten a real meal? The days had blurred into a fog of hunger. I'm not sure, I admitted. She helped me sit up slowly, then pointed toward the scale in the corner. I need to check your weight. I stood on the scale, unsteady. The digital screen lit up 84 pounds. I'd dropped 5 pounds since the previous week. Mrs. Chen's face drained of color. Jade, I need to call an ambulance right now. No, please. I beg you. My parents will be furious. I'm okay. Sweetheart, you're not okay. You're dangerously malnourished. Your blood pressure is critically low. This is an emergency. She was already dialing. Within minutes, I heard the sirens. As the paramedics lifted me onto a stretcher, I noticed my classmates staring through windows, stunned. My secret was exposed. At the hospital, everything was a rush. IVs were hooked up, blood samples taken, monitors attached. A doctor with gentle eyes and steady hands examined me while a nurse recorded everything. "How long have you been limiting food?" Dr. Kumar asked softly. "I'm not," I replied on reflex. "I mean, I don't have an eating disorder. My parents," I stopped myself. The old programming's still in place. "Your parents? What is it, Jade?" Something in her tone, clinical yet kind, cut through my defenses. "They lock the kitchen," I whispered. "When I'm bad, when I lie or talk back. No dinner for liars. That's their rule." Dr. Kumar's face didn't change, but she glanced at the nurse. "How often does that happen?" "More now. This time it's been 4 days, I think. Maybe 5. I lose track. And it's your parents denying you food?" I nodded, tears falling freely. "Dad says I need structure. Mom says I'll eat when I learn respect, but I never learn it right. It's never enough." Dr. Kumar gave my hand a soft squeeze. "Jade, what they're doing isn't discipline. It's abuse. I need to make some calls." The next few hours were a whirlwind of tests and interviews. A social worker showed up, then the police. My parents were called in. I heard my mother's voice outside, high-pitched and outraged. "This is insane. Our daughter has an eating disorder. We've been trying to help her, but the blood tests said otherwise. Extreme malnutrition, missing nutrients, muscle breakdown, organs under strain." The hospital nutritionist who reviewed my records didn't sugarcoat it. "This isn't anorexia or chosen restriction." She explained to the team the pattern of denial, the specific shortages. "This is consistent with forced starvation." In my view, had it continued, her organs would have failed within weeks. This was attempted murder by neglect. When my parents were finally permitted into my room, they arrived with their lawyer. My mother's flawless composure was starting to crack. My father's authority was being challenged by the medical staff who refused to comply with his demands. "She's a troubled teen," my mother insisted. "She lies all the time, hoards food." We were trying to break those habits by starving her. Dr. Kumar's tone was cold as ice. "Your daughter weighs 84 pounds. Her body is breaking down its own muscles. Her heartbeat is irregular due to electrolyte imbalance. This is what we see in survivors of concentration camps, not with troubled teens." "You don't understand," my father began. "Jade is manipulative. She's likely been making herself sick for attention." That's when Ella Lanner spoke. My little sister, brought by a social worker, looked even smaller than her. 13 years. "They lock the kitchen," she said softly. I hear Jade crying at night from hunger. Mom sometimes makes me eat in front of her. Says it's to teach her a lesson. The room fell into silence. My parents stared at Ella Lanner in disbelief and betrayal. "I didn't want Jade to die," Ella Lanner added, tears streaming down her face. "I tried sneaking her food, but Mom caught me and said I'd be next if I didn't stop." enabling her. Their lawyer leaned in and whispered urgently. The police stepped forward. The social worker pulled Ella Lanner closer to me, away from them. Mr. and Mrs. Wright, the lead officer said, "You're under arrest for abuse and child endangerment." My mother's mask fully crumbled. She deserved it. She screamed as they handcuffed her. Ungrateful, lying, little. We gave her everything. But food, I whispered, though I doubt anyone heard. The following days blurred into recovery and investigation. Detectives discovered the kitchen locks, my mother's food diary, logging when I could eat, even a punishment chart marking food, restrictions for every offense. Ella Lanner was placed with our aunt while they continued the investigation. She came to visit every day, bringing apologies and homework. "I should have told someone," she said. "I was scared they'd do it. To me, too." "You're 13, I reminded. "Hush. This wasn't your burden." Healing physically took time. Refeeding syndrome was dangerous. My body had adjusted to starvation and could be harmed by too much food too fast. The nutritionist gave me a slow plan to raise calories while tracking how my organs responded. "Your body is strong," she said, "but some damage may last. Bone loss, possible heart issues. You'll need checkups for years." Mentally, it was even harder. I'd been trained to feel ashamed for eating, to tie hunger to punishment, to believe I earned the starvation. The hospital therapist saw me every day. "They made you believe that basic human needs were privileges you had to earn," she said. "We have to help you reconnect with your body's natural hunger signals." 3 weeks into my hospital stay, I testified remotely at my parents' preliminary hearing. I explained the growing punishments, the food deprivation, the kitchen being locked. The judge's expression hardened as I went on. My parents' lawyer claimed it was discipline gone too far, not intentional harm. But the medical proof was overwhelming. Photos of my starved body, brain scans showing starvation-related damage, and the nutritionist's testimony that I had been just weeks away from death. They were found guilty of multiple counts of abuse and attempted murder. My mother received 15 years. My father got 12. The difference was the food diary in my mother's own writing, showing she was the one who designed the starvation plan. At sentencing, they got to speak. My father talked about betrayal and disappointment. My mother cried about how hard it was to raise a difficult child. Neither said sorry. Neither admitted they had almost killed me. I'm 19 now, living with my aunt, alongside Ella Lanner. I'm at a healthy weight, though I still see a nutritionist regularly. Some days are tougher than others. Sometimes I still feel shame eating a full plate. Still hear my mother's voice telling me I don't deserve it. But I'm learning, learning that food is fuel, not a prize. That hunger is message, not a punishment. That I deserve to exist, to nourish myself, to take up space without having to earn the right to eat. Ella Lanner and I cook meals together now. She shows me recipes She learned from you too, while I was banned from the kitchen. We don't lock anything in our aunt's house. The pantry is open. There's always fruit on the table. Remember when Mom said hunger builds character? Ella Lanner asked, as we stirred pasta. Yeah, I replied, tossing extra cheese into my bowl just because I could. I think she was wrong, Ella Lanner said, living through her built character. The hunger only left scars. She was right. I made it through starvation disguised as discipline, through attempted murder masked as parenting, and now every meal I eat is quiet rebellion against those who tried to erase me, one locked kitchen at a time. The nutritionist was right too. It was attempted murder. They just used hunger instead of anything more obvious. But bodies, remember, and mine told the truth. They tried to starve me into silence. Now I eat 3 meals daily, snacks when I'm hungry. It's revolutionary. It's recovery. It's resistance. And it's mine.